What's going on, YouTube? So in a world filled with luxury crossovers, there are a few that have had the success of the Lexus RX. This thing has been a bestseller for literally decades at this point, and we're with the latest Lexus RX. This is not just any RX though, this is the plug-in hybrid variant, and I have a question today. Is it worth its $77,000 price tag? That's what we're going to dive into. So let's start things out with the spec dump. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is actually the plug-in hybrid variant known as 450h Plus. There are 4 different options though that you can select from. So if you don't like this, you can get several different choices. Now, this one is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine paired with an 18.1 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. Altogether, it makes 304 horsepower and can go up to 35 miles on a single charge. Now, the base price for the Lexus RX this year is $50,000, and if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, later on, we will be taking this out for a spin to show you the performance of this 450 model. We'll also be doing things like getting our sound level reading, and this is a 7-day review, so we'll tell you if we like it better, the same, or worse after living with it. But let's go ahead and shut up the hood so we can take a look at the luxurious exterior and interior. All right, so let's begin with the classy exterior design. Now, this Lexus RX certainly has had a lot of success within the luxury space, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact of how classy this vehicle looks. Now, up here in the front, we have the luxury version. That's going to mean that all of this is going to be finished in a body color scheme, and it really does have a very tasteful look to it. Now, if you don't like this, you will have to opt for another powertrain choice because the 450h Plus is only available in the luxury trim level. You can get, of course, F-Sport variants as well as some other versions of the RX as well. Now, coming to the headlights, we do have standard LED lighting as you would expect out of a luxury vehicle. This is actually the up-level unit though. That's going to include the triple beams in signature Lexus fashion. It's also going to include the LED turn signal indicator. I really definitely like this headlight choice better, so that's something to keep in mind. It is an option on the RX. Now, as far as the lights, we also have headlamp washers and we have LED fog lights down at the bottom. Now let's talk about the wheels. So we start at 19 inches on the very base end for the RX lineup, and then when you choose a higher end model like this luxury, that's where you're going to unlock these 21-inch alloy wheels. I really like the overall design. The luxury specifically has a gray finish. You can also get different design themes depending on if you choose like an F-Sport model or not. I think you will be very pleasantly surprised with the ride quality even with those wheels. Now, as far as the mirrors are concerned, in typical Lexus fashion, you do have a really nice and loaded mirror. It's going to include turn signal indicators, heating, blind spot monitoring. It's also going to have power folding and auto dimming on the driver's side. Now, at the side, the RX comes in at 192.5 inches in length. And as far as design touches, we have some chrome on our window surrounds, and we kind of have this floating roof effect. Overall, I think it looks very handsome. Now, as we head around to the rear design, I think that very tasteful and elegant look that I talked about in the front will continue back here as well. It's not super flashy, but it does have a nice look to it. Now, breaking down some of the design touches, we have a spoiler up top. We also have a wiper that's going to be hidden underneath. We have our Lexus branding right here in the center, and then we have the full-length LED taillights, and every single element in this unit is LED. So all of this is just accenting. You do have a brake light right here, and then you have a turn signal indicator as well as reverse light. All of them are LED. Now, as we drop down, we have our 450h Plus branding, and then for this model, we have some silver accenting. As far as the tow rating, it comes in at 3,500 pounds. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, Lexus includes every single one of those as standard equipment, so that's going to even include things like adaptive cruise control. Additionally, you can get things like traffic jam assist, which allows for some limited hands-free driving at speeds of under 25 miles per hour. But guys, there's a very luxurious cabin that we can't wait to show you on the inside. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we have reviewed over 2,000 vehicles at every price point. No matter what you're looking for, from humble to high-end, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, so let's go ahead and check out the inside. First of all, here is your key fob for the RX. Certainly a pretty premium feeling key fob. You just have a couple buttons here on the back. Smart Entry is standard equipment on every single RX. Remote Start is included in the app itself, and you can also get digital key on this model. So as you approach the vehicle, we do have electronic style door handles, so they don't actually move. There's a little touch sensitive pad back there, and that will open up the door. Go ahead and take a look inside of this RX. Now, inside, I think it has an incredible overall aesthetic to it, and also a lot of luxury design touches. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the seats. Now, on the base end of the RX lineup, you are going to get a new Lux faux leather seat. However, when you choose a trim level like this luxury, that's where you're going to upgrade to a semi-aniline leather, which is extremely premium feeling. It's some of the nicest grades of leather that you can get in the entire auto industry. I certainly would recommend. We also have like a little bit of a cloth finish here on the side to help you, stay hugged in while you're going around corners. Now, as far as the seats themselves, you have an 8-way power seat as standard equipment. If you choose the luxury model, you're going to gain additional adjustments, such as the power thigh extension you see right there. And overall, these seats are absolutely fantastic. We've certainly enjoyed living with them this week. Now, you'll additionally have 3-person memory seats located right there, as well as passenger memory. But let's go ahead and hop inside. Now, shutting up the door, I do also want to mention the interior color choice that we've selected here. This is the macadamia color. It really certainly looks good, especially with the bamboo wood trim that they have accenting. And let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the cabin material. So over here on the door trim, we do have a nice leatherette going through this section. It's going to be finished in kind of a brown color. White leatherette going through the center section, soft touch plastic on the upper part, and then we have some more of that cloth trim going through this section. Up on the top of the dashboard, we do have a soft touch plastic, and then we're going to have some more of that cloth going through the center section to add some color diversity. Soft touch plastic here, more bamboo wood, kind of a leatherette trim through the center section, as well as going down into the center tunnel with a lot of that bamboo trim. But let's go ahead and start it up with the push button start. All right, so now let's go ahead and begin with some individual details. Now, the first stop is the gauge cluster. Now, for whatever reason, we were sent a 2024 RX instead of a 2025 model, but one of the main changes for the 2025 is actually a full 12.3-inch gauge cluster. You can see that on the screen right now. It has quite a lot of customizability to it, but other than that, there are really no changes to the RX lineup besides for a few additional trim levels, which we actually detailed in a separate review. Now, looking up from that, we have a head-up display. That's going to be standard equipment here on the luxury version of the RX. You can also get it as standard on the F Sport variants. And then as we come back to the steering wheel, we have a beautifully crafted steering wheel. It's of course leather wrapped. It's also going to be heated, and we have some of that bamboo trim kind of inlaid inside. You have some touch sensitive controls over here on the side that allow you to do things in the head-up display. And we also have a standard power tilt and telescoping steering column. Additionally, we're going to have rain sensing wipers. Now let's go ahead and talk about interior storage, because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by that in the RX. So if we open up the center console, you'll notice that it is filled with donuts. The reason it's filled with donuts is because, of course, this is Car Confections, and our logo is a donut. We fill it up with stuffed donuts because we can measure the volume and see how good it is. In this case, it is 14 donuts. So that passes our dozen donut test, and overall, it's just a really large center console for a vehicle in this segment. Additionally, it does have the cool ability to open from both sides. Now, moving on from that, we have 2 cup holders right here. They also do have adjustments to them, so you can raise and lower depending on how big your drink is. And then up in front of that, we have a large storage slot with a wireless phone charging pad here on the side. Overall, I think it's a good amount of storage for this class. Now, let's take a look at our shifter. It's our Lexus electronic style shifter that we've seen on a lot of their products. Just bump over and down to go into drive. Once more, we'll go into sport mode. If we go into reverse, you'll find a 360-degree camera system. Now, this is going to be an option on the vast majority of Lexus RX models, including this 450h model, so just keep that in mind. You have to pay extra, but the resolution is quite nice. Additionally, it's going to have the ability to park itself parallel and perpendicular. Now, just press the P for park. And then behind that, we have a few other controls, including our brake hold. This button specific is for the RX 450h Plus, and you can cycle between a hybrid mode, an EV-only mode, or a charge function. All right, so moving on from that, we have our climate controls, which are going to occupy the lower part of this display. Even though they are in the display itself, we do have physical controls for our temperature adjustment, which I certainly appreciate. It's going to be a dual zone setup as standard equipment. However, if you choose a Premium Plus trim level and above, it's actually going to be a 3-zone automatic setup. Overall functionality is quite easy, and it also is going to sync with your heated and ventilated seats that are included on most models. Heated seats are included on every single RX, and the ventilation comes on all but the very base model. Down below that, you'll find a physical knob for our audio system. Standard is a 12-speaker sound system, and available is this 21-speaker Mark Levinson audio system. So let's go ahead and give it a sample. Overall, this is certainly a very good audio system, so for those of you that like audio, I certainly would recommend checking this box. I do believe it is an available option on the vast majority of trim levels. Now, let's go ahead and dive into this main infotainment screen. Now, standard on the RX is a 9.8-inch screen setup. However, most models will have this 14-inch display. This is certainly going to be a lot more impressive in overall screen resolution and size, and it is included as you move up the trim structures. Now, as you can see right now, we have wireless Apple CarPlay. You also have wireless Android Auto, and then if we exit back to the Lexus system itself, you will find a built-in navigation system. Overall functionality is quite good with this system. We've had no issues this week. Now, going above, as you can see, this fully loaded example is going to have the digital rear camera mirror. We're also going to have Homelink garage door openers and auto dimming. And then as far as the moonroof is concerned, you're going to get a standard size setup included. However, you can option on the panoramic style, which is what we've done. The panoramic style is going to cost about $500 more. And let's dive into the rear seat area for this Lexus RX. Now, as far as this area is concerned, I've been very impressed this week as well because, first of all, I'll just go ahead and just say this right off the bat. We have incredibly plush seats here in the back. Not only are they plush in the front, these back seats are absolutely fantastic. Now, we'll talk about space now. We're sitting at about 37 inches of both leg and headroom, which are okay figures. That does mean it's going to be less than something like a BMW X5, for instance. However, the seat is adjusted to my own seating position, and we are sitting at about 8 inches of additional knee space, so that's certainly perfectly adequate. My feet can also easily slide up underneath of the seats. Now, these seats themselves actually are power adjusting if you choose the luxury version. So over there on the side, you'll find a little button that will allow you to adjust the tilt of the seat. As you can see, you can go back quite a good distance, or you can move yourself upward for a more normal seating position. Now, here in the center section, we have a nice little storage cubby. We're also going to have some pop-out cup holders. We're not done yet, though, with features, because here in the center section, we have our own climate vents. Additionally, you heard me say at the front, we have a 3-zone climate system, so that means we have our own temperature adjustment back here, 2 USB ports, and here on the luxury version of the RX, you're going to get heated and ventilated back seats as standard equipment. So that's certainly a very nice bougie feature to see here on the RX. Now, as far as other things over there on the door trim, you will notice we also have rear window sunshades. That's something that some of the competitors aren't including. And then mostly a leatherette and cloth combination door trim. It really is a beautiful design overall. And then there's quite a bit of storage down in the very bottom. Now, walking up to the tailgate, a Power One is standard equipment. You can option on to have the kick ability as well. And let's go ahead and talk about the cargo area here in this RX. So we are going to be sitting at some relatively disappointing figures. It's about 29 cubic feet of cargo capacity behind the second row of seats. If we fold those seats down, which we can easily do with these little buttons right here off to the side, that's going to, with one press, fold them down. They do fold 40, 20, 40 split folding, which I like. That's going to give you a maximum of 46 cubic feet of cargo capacity. Now, if you are curious as to how that compares to some of the rivals, go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. We have looked at all of the luxury mid-size SUVs in this segment. There are a ton of options, and we've actually gone through and ranked them based on the categories that might matter most to you. So if that's cargo space, you can see some of the best cargo capacity models. You can also see some of the best tech options as well as the best luxury choices. So depending on what matters more to you, be sure to go ahead and check that feature out on our website, carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. But yeah, overall, 46 cubic feet certainly going to be a little bit on the small side, a lot less than Genesis GV80 or BMW X5. That's one of the weakest points about the RX, unfortunately. As you can see, the seats don't exactly fold flat with the floor, so I'm not really sure why they are elevated like that. But let's go ahead and get our cargo length figure behind my own 5'9" driving position. 78 inches of length is what you can expect. From behind the second row of seats, 41 inches of length. As far as width, 43 inches wide, and then height is going to come in about 28 inches tall, which is pretty short, and that's certainly not at the end of the cargo area. At the end of the cargo area, it kind of slopes off, so you'd be only looking at about 13 inches of height. Underneath of the floor, we do not have a spare tire. We have a little bit of extra space. This would be like useful for your charging cable in this model. There's a little bit of extra space under there as well. And then as far as cargo load-in height, let's see that. That's going to be about 31 inches tall. Well guys, here we are behind the wheel of the Lexus RX 450h Plus. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our sound level reading. First of all, though, we are going to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration. And if you haven't met Josh already, he is joining us on this review. He, of course, is a team member here at Car Confections, and we can't wait to go ahead and get started. All right, and there's a little past 60 miles per hour in the Lexus RX 450h Plus. Now, it's a lot of jargon there, a lot of numbers, and I'm sure that's a little overwhelming. What that means, in essence, is that this is the plug-in hybrid variant of the RX. Now, what this is basically building off of the 350h model, which is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine. In addition, this is going to have some electric componentry, plus an 18.1 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. That altogether is going to make 304 horsepower, and as you could see, our acceleration there was quite spiffy. I think it's going to be perfectly adequate for most Lexus RX buyers, that's for sure. Just be aware it is going to be a little loud if you just absolutely hammer it like what we just did. But overall, I think it's a good amount of power, that's for sure.
Now, to do a little bit more Lexus mathematics, we have three other powertrain options in this Lexus RX. You start out with the 350, which has a 2.4-liter turbo 4. Then you move up to the 350h, which is a hybrid with a 2.5-liter four-cylinder. And then at the top of that lineup, you have the most powerful RX, which is the 500h. That is making 366 horsepower from a 2.4-liter turbo 4 with hybrid componentry. You can see all of those figures on the screen right now, though.
Yeah, in summary, Lexus gives you an option really no matter what you're looking for. If you're looking for a traditional gas setup, you have the 350 model. If you want a traditional hybrid, you can get that. The plug-in hybrid, you can get this. And there's even a performance hybrid. So that's one of my favorite things things about the Lexus RX is they really give you a powertrain no matter what you're looking for overall.
But one thing you won't find in this RX lineup that you would find in the larger 3-row TX is a V6 plug-in hybrid setup, and we have covered that in the Lexus TX 550H Plus, and we have a review on that on the channel as well.
So, an example of a rolling start, and as you can tell from that acceleration, we don't have a traditional transmission on board for this plug-in hybrid variant. It's actually going to be an eCVT. So that's going to be the same for this and the 350H variant. If you want a traditional automatic, you can get the RX 350 with an 8-speed automatic or the 500H with a 6-speed automatic. So 4 powertrain options, 3 transmission choices as well. So once again, a lot of options here. Hopefully we are doing our best at explaining all of those and you're not too confused. But kind of focusing in on this 450H model, I certainly like how it feels overall. The eCVT is very responsive, so under normal acceleration, under hard acceleration, it does do a really good job of giving you the power when you need it. All right, but we are on our designated strip of road to talk about ride quality, and man, living with this RX this week, I mean, it has just been a serene environment to get in. So like the chaos of the day, you get into this RX and you feel immediately comfortable and it just relaxes you. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people buy so many RXs is because of that. The ride quality is fantastic in this model. It is one of the very best riding vehicles money can buy in any price point, literally. As far as the overall feel, even with the 21-inch alloy wheels, it lets in very little intrusion, even if you hit a big bump in the road. And I think Josh can speak with me here, but these seats are absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, I love these seats. I was telling Mason on our ride over here that I could just fall asleep in these so easily. Yeah. The only thing I am missing at this price point in a luxury vehicle is massage.
All right, so I'm going to toggle us into the EV mode, which is just going to lock this vehicle into its electric motors exclusively, and we'll give you an acceleration to see how fast it is.
Very nice.
Right, and that's 60 miles per hour. You can absolutely hammer this. It's not going to kick the engine on when you have it in that EV-only mode. And I think now is a great time for us to get our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour.
Fan speed is on 1 and the rear climate is off. Very nice. We're going to be sitting in at 53 decibels from this RX 450H Plus. Just as we suspected, this is a very quiet vehicle, and you can certainly tell that from the cabin. I'm going to go compare it to all of its competitors at carconfections.com/sound level readings. Now, as quiet as that sound level reading was, it still puts it on the quieter end of the segment, but this has a lot of stiff competition, so it's going to be a little bit louder than things like the GV80, the BMW X5, the GLE, and even the Audi Q8.
Yeah, there's a lot of really quiet options in this segment to summarize with that right there. Although I think just how quiet it is in here, it is really going to add to that serene environment that I was talking about earlier with the ride quality. It just feels so nice in here. All right, so we toggled it into sport mode to briefly discuss driving dynamics. That, of course, is not the focus of the Lexus RX, and you certainly can, notice that as soon as you take it out on a back road like this. It's not that it's like super sloppy or anything. It's totally fine. You can just tell that Lexus certainly has went for the luxury side of things, especially in this luxury trim level here. Now, they'll sell you a 500H F Sport Performance model, and that certainly improves the dynamics. But here in the 450H, you're going to have quite a bit of body roll, And even though the steering is very accurate, it just doesn't have a lot of feel. Some of the rivals in this space, like the BMW X5, do a little bit of a better job of having the extreme luxury and also the sporty characteristics, so that's just something to keep in mind if that matters to you.
Now let's go ahead and talk about fuel economy for the RX. Once again, there's a lot of powertrains, a lot of different numbers that you can see on the screen right now. The only model that offers front-wheel drive will be the 350 gas model, by the way, and those will be getting 25 or 24 mpg combined. The 350h will be getting 36 mpg combined, which will be the best for the RX lineup, and then the 450h Plus will be getting that 35 miles of EV range. The 500 will be getting 27 mpg combined. And as far as what we've been getting while the engine has been on during our week with this 450h Plus, we're still sitting at 36.2 mpg combined, which is honestly fantastic. That is as good as the 350h.
Yeah, I have to say I'm very impressed with that. I understand that they're mechanically related to one another, but typically when you have a plug-in hybrid, it has that big battery that kind of weighs it down a little bit, so they get worse fuel economy when the battery is discharged. This thing has been getting 36 mpg, so you have the RX 350h's fuel economy when it's not plugged in, and then of course you can go that full 35 miles of all-electric range, so I'm very impressed with that. As far as the efficiency, under just the battery power, we were noticing around is actually over 2 miles per kilowatt hour, so that's actually quite efficient. All right, let's get into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball. Josh, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the Slam Dunk?
Well, this Slam Dunk for this RX is one that is similar to many others, and that is just the comfort and luxury in this package. All RXs are very comfortable, but I think this 450h Plus with the quietness in EV driving mode is increased even more when you have these nice quiet accelerations.
And on the Airball side of things, what we're going to say is the price of this plug-in hybrid model. I think that is by far its worst characteristic. At $77,000, it is a pretty penny to pay, especially considering you can get a 350h luxury, so an equivalent trim level to this, for around $10,000 less. So that's just something to keep in mind. This plug-in hybrid is significantly more expensive than other versions of the RX.
Now, something we do in all of our 7-day reviews is discuss whether or not we like this RX the same, better, or worse after 7 days of living with it. After a time with it, we're going to say that we like this the same. While we do really like this package as a whole, as well as the 450h Plus powertrain, the price at the end of the day is not enough to move the needle to like this better than any other version of the RX we've been in.
And now let's talk about pricing. So as I said at the very beginning of this video, we start around $50,000 for the base model. Now this is far from base. This 450h Plus is quite a bit of a price premium. Plus, we also have all the options on this model. We start at $72,000. When you check all the boxes like this tester, we're sitting at around $77,000. Now, if you're looking to buy a Lexus RX 450h or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. It can help the dealers to start competing on price. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's dive into resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Josh and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Lexus RX's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 53.8% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 28.1%. Now, it's worth noting that is the very best luxury brand for resale value percentages. It's a very good percentage overall. It's actually better than industry average for all brands. So certainly that's something worth considering, especially against its German rivals like BMW.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by creating the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account a variety of data from trusted automotive resources, of which we have recently updated with the most recent 2025 data. In this regard, Lexus is still rated as the #1 luxury brand and is above the overall industry average.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values, reliability data, or our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Now, lastly, when it comes to your warranty, Lexus does have a very good warranty for a luxury brand. For your 50,000-mile basic, 6-year 70,000-mile powertrain warranty, you do also get 2 complimentary service visits. And guys, that's going to wrap up our in-depth review of the 2025 Lexus RX 450h Plus. If you enjoyed learning about our 7-day impressions and about this plug-in hybrid variant specifically, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I promise you won't want to miss out. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.